let's move on, then understand how is a typical vendor organized. Right? So how is this, IBM or TCS or Accenture, how are they organized, and how are what are the other roles which come into this IT companies. Okay. So again, we will be mostly focused on the delivery of the projects. So there would be sales which will get in new projects. There would be finance who would take care of billing. There would be HR who take care of people. There would be admins who would take care of the facilities and all that. We are not interested in that. What we are more interested in, how are you executing the projects? Okay, how are they aligned, and what is it that they do as part of this project delivery? Okay. Now, the project teams are aligned primarily into two groups. Okay, we call them as horizontals and verticals. Okay, so horizontals are experts in a particular technology, like .NET or Pega or Oracle applications or SAP, right? So they are experts in a particular technology. Okay, they have a pool of people under each of these horizontal heads, right? So there would be a team of like .NET resources, like some 1,000 people or 2,000 people. Then there will be Java experts of another 2,000 or 3,000 people. Oracle applications of another 3,000. So all those different teams would be there. So they are experts in that particular technology, and as and when projects comes, they are assigned to the projects. Then there are a different set of teams called as verticals. Okay. Now, verticals are industry focused. So there would be a banking vertical, right? So there would be an insurance, there would be a retail, there would be healthcare, there would be media. So each industry would have different requirements, right? Now, if you look at a bank, it would have some sort of specific set of systems, like there would be a deposit system, there would be a loan system, there would be a general ledger, and similarly, if you look at a a retail organization, it would have an ERP system, right? It would have a supply chain, it would have a CRM system. So all the kind of systems would differ depending on industry, right? And their the requirements and needs also would be very different, right? So these account guys or the vertical teams are aligned to that particular industry, and they know exactly, what, in a bank, these are the kind of roles which will be there, right? And this is what these are the kind of systems that they need to use, right? And to develop that system, I need this particular technology. So they would link the customer, they would understand the customer requirements, and then bring appropriate horizontal teams. Like, if they have an RFP which have come out from the customer, they will know, okay, this requirement can be met using Pega team. So let me onboard Pega team. Okay. So they would bring in the respective teams and then ensure that the project is done. So there are people who are experts in technology who take care of the delivery. Then there are experts in a particular industry who would talk to the customer, understand their needs, and then propose solutions, and then win business, right? So we call that as a account teams. So account manager is a guy who is basically talking to the customers, making sure that he's happy with the services. So he's usually the first point of contact. He's the first point of escalation as well, right? So all the client, if he needs anything from this vendor, like Accenture, he would just come over to the account manager and then talk to him, right? So he's the first point of escalation. If something is going wrong in the project also, an account manager would be informed and then asked to take corrective actions. Okay. They will also get new business. So they will talk to the customers and then identify new business opportunities and win more business. They will participate in this RFP process and then win business, and then they would take care till the SOW is signed. Okay, so that's the responsibilities of the account teams. And horizontal the delivery experience, right? So they are experts in a particular technology, so they're going to, you know, solutionalize and then finally deliver the application. Okay, so that's how a typical IT organization is structured. Okay, now let's spend some time in understanding how is the project structured. A typical project would look something like this. Now let's continue the same example of a Citibank. Now Citibank would not have only one project running, right? So if you look at a fairly large customer like Citibank, there would be hundreds of vendor, right? Like Accenture would have at least 100 projects running at that moment. Okay. Now obviously, needs to bring in that structure so that they can oversee all those 100 projects are working correctly or not, right? So each project would have these teams. So there would be an on-site team, there would be an offshore team. Okay, on-site team would take care of interacting with the customer. So they would talk to the customer, understand the requirements, right? Any technical discussions that needs to happen, they would talk to them. So primarily they would manage the requirements, the communication, and the technical discussions with the customer's team, right? So primarily the on-site team constitutes a business analyst for managing the requirements. There would be a technical architect who would take care of all the technical discussions. And there would also be a project manager or at least a project lead. Okay, so this is primarily your on-site team, and maybe during the testing there would be a QA guy also coming in. Okay, so primarily the requirements are managed at on-site team. The technical design and the overview and discussions also happen at the on-site team, and the offshore team would involve in the delivery of the application, which means the programming is done here, development. Okay, so they would design and develop. They would design and develop, and then they would also test. So one round of testing would be done here, and then it's sent to the on-site team to take it to the customer. Okay, so primarily the offshore team would have architects. There would be programmers. There would be testers in the team. Okay, and then there would be a project manager here as well. Now, if it's a fairly large project, there would be two project managers, one managing on-site team, one managing offshore team. If it's a small project, you generally could have an on-site project manager or an offshore project manager, and the other would be a lead. We call them as an on-site lead or an on-site coordinator. If the PM is based offshore, or if the PM is based on-site, then there would be an offshore lead or an offshore coordinator. Okay, so that's how a project would, each project teams would look like. Okay, and all the projects, work in that particular client would be reporting into the account manager, right? So some organizations call it also as a client partner or account manager. So there would be client partner, and there could be multiple account managers under it. Okay, depending on number of projects. If there are 100 projects, one account manager cannot manage 100 projects. So they will have 4 account managers, each one managing 25 projects, and all the 4 account managers would report into the client partner, right? So that would be the hierarchy. Okay, and over and above them would be the delivery head, and then the overall unit heads, the vertical and horizontal heads. You will have the banking head, and then your Pega practice head. All those heads would be there as part of your final escalation, right? So typically, if the client has any problem with the team, it would inform the project manager. This guy is also not responded. They will go to the account manager. If this guy is also not given a satisfactory solution, the final escalation would be to the delivery manager, the delivery heads. Right? So usually these are the very senior guys in the project, so in the company. Like there would be the VPs or SVPs in the organization. So they would have that you know um, authority to take a decision onto it. Right? So that's how a typical client, the vendor organization side is. And on the client side, there would be project teams. Then over and above them, there would be client manager, which is the project technical project manager. And then there would be a business manager as well. The business manager would manage all the requirements. So a lot of time you would interact with his team, which are the SMEs, right? And the technical team project manager for all the non-functional requirements, and ensure that they are coordinating with this team to get the project executed. Okay. Over and above them are the head of that particular business unit, and then the CIO or the CTO, whoever it is. The steering committee would be the final head. Okay. So this is how a typical project would be organized. So you as a business analyst would be part of the on-site team, and then your interactions would be primarily with these SMEs. Okay.